Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the IGM Sunday News webcast.
Sunday NewsCast.
I feel like Sunday NewsCast sums it up.
Yeah, Sunday NewsCast. Welcome to the Sunday NewsCast, brought to you by IGM. And me, my name's Nick Sesko, and people just call me the Average Gamer. And today I'm joined with my favorite hosts.
Oh, which one is that?
I said it in plural. I said it in plural.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, he
okay.
meant for me to go first.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Okay, sweetie, I'll let you think that. Go ahead.
So I'm Vinny, the editor-in-chief of Indie Game Magazine.
That's it? That's all you gotta say?
Say.
That's
Who
it?
doesn't know, who doesn't know me?
God.
He's important
I'm
enough
glad
to
you
be
went
blunt.
first, man. Okay. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm Squeaky Bee. You can call me Squeaky or Bonnie, whatever. I stream here on Hitbox, I stream on Twitch, and I'm a staff writer for the Indie Game Magazine.
Boo Twitch. What? Pardon?
What?
Huh? I didn't say anything.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I heard nothing.
So, we have some
Did you say it to
fun...
my face?
No? We're on a voice call.
Anyway.
What I have to put up with.
I love this show. This show is so much
I
fun.
swear to Bob.
Quite.
Swear to Bob.
Yes.
Alright,
Yes,
so we got a great show for you today. We've got several games to show off.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk crap, as usual, because that's what we do.
Oh, that's what we love to do. What I wanted to touch on first is, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but we make a magazine, and it releases on the first of every month, meaning that we just had our next issue released and ready for people to read.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Issue-
Technically issue number 37, because IGM was a thing before I got here, but
Yeah.
technically issue number 2 is under the new regime.
Yeah.
The
That's
new
how I
regime.
think about it.
Wow. That was a wonderful choice of words. The new regime.
Oh, what do you want, Era?
Oh yeah, we
Would
can
you
see
prefer
we
Era?
can totally see your tabs, Nick.
Yeah, I know.
And Nick,
Well, that we
your
could
tabs.
last week
Sexy.
too. Sexy tabs. Them
Whatever.
tabs.
Yeah, all them six tabs. Let's see, you've got League of Legends on the bottom bar.
Oh, you can see my
Battle
bar
Royale.
too?
Yeah, I can see your tab bar. Is that World of Warcraft?
Yeah, totally.
I see the Fraps and the XSplit, and I see that you have a Logitech cam, because that's what's popping up on your computer.
Yeah, it's a C920 or whatever the hell they're called.
I am creepy as fuck. Alright, let's keep going.
Anyway, so May issue features Freedom Planet, which is a old school kind of 90s platformer, mascot platformer, kind of like, old school Sonic. And it is pretty awesome, so I would highly recommend checking it out, both the game and the cover story.
And if
Yep.
people want to, I linked in chat if you guys want to subscribe to the magazine. You can check it all out right there. And yeah. Anyway, enough of our own plugs. Let's move on to the next piece of news.
Let's plug everything else.
Yes, let's plug it all.
We have real news too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
So Super Time Force. This one I'm not really familiar with.
Okay. Super Time Force. Let me pull up this here link. What we want to talk about was the release date, first of all, because it's been around the block for a while now. It was supposed to come out last year, actually, but it got delayed. In any case, developed by Capybara Games, the guys who are also doing Below, which was at PAX East. So Super Time Force, it's a, how do they say it? It's a single-player co-op game, and by that, you basically have to, well, you play with yourself. So how that works is every time you die, you can rewind, and you can pick another class or another character, or you can use the same character, and the previous gameplay records, and then when you start again from the starting point, you pick a secondary character, and the first character just basically plays as a ghost and you choose a new character. So now it's like co-op, only there's the actions you did the first time, and your new actions. And when you're shooting constantly, it kind of makes it so that it's like there's two people shooting all over the place.
Interesting.
So there's kind
Oh
of
my
a strategic
gosh.
puzzle element to it, where you die like 4 times, and now you have 4 of your copies running around. And they're all doing different things, and you're trying to survive the stage. And there's bullets everywhere, and there's pretty cool bosses. It's a lot of fun, though. I don't know if you want to show the trailer, or if you are showing the trailer.
Sure, we can. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's full
That
screen that.
That concept reminds me of The Cave.
Oh, that was a
by,
good game. That was Double Fine,
Double
wasn't
Fine?
it? Yeah.
And it also reminds me of a mod for Portal 2. You can actually, instead of using portals, you use copies of yourself, and you basically time travel.
Oh.
It's great.
What's that?
Yeah,
Time
I would have played
Splitters.
so bad.
What's that? Ghost
Yeah.
Gun. What's that? Ghost Goggles. Nobody will get that. It's fine. Okay, Super Time Force. Here's the trailer.
How to play Super Time Force. Run. Jump. Shoot. Die. 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 What the fuck? How did they expect you to survive in this game? Oh, right. Rewind. Regroup.
Dolphin Mug.
Revenge. The wait is almost over. Super Time Force arrives on May 14th.
So, Vinny, we need that for the author Let's Play.
It comes out soon. The release date is May 14th. I believe for now it's on Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I have
But
to pull out my
in any
consoles.
case, as you can tell, the capybara has a bit of a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's amazing. That looks really good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what
May-
those animals are in the logo. They're not hippos, they're capybaras. Oh, no, it's cool, it's cool. I only know about capybaras because they're one of my favorite animals. Because I had guinea pigs and I was like, I want a capybara.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I'm gonna keep one in a swimming pool in my backyard.
Ah,
Oh yeah, Super Time Force, Capybara Games, May 14th, Xbox One, Xbox 360. Check it
Yeah.
out.
yeah, will do. Next is In Sync, which has an I, so don't worry about it, guys. It's not In Sync.
It also actually has an H at the end, so
Yeah.
they
I
spelled it
panicked,
correctly.
I panicked and almost threw on some Backstreet Boys.
They're back.
God.
All right. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Well, the trailer is extremely limited. The trailer's like, oh, this is very simple, okay. But here's the deal, I love rhythm games. I'm one of those people that, I play DDR, like, all the time when I was, like, 19. I have Guitar Hero. Frequency, the game for PS2, you basically just push buttons and you go down a track, and that's it. Like, you push buttons to the time of the music. The first thing I bought with my Kinect was Dance Central. Like, I love rhythm games so much. And I saw this one, and they use stop-motion animation. So,
Ooh.
like, it's a rhythm game, and it uses stop-motion animation, which I also freaking adore. Like, Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas, Paranorman, like, all those things, like Robot Chicken. And it doesn't hurt that I have, like, family members who work in stop-motion animation, so I know how hard it is. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But, yeah, NSYNC is basically a music rhythm game where you push buttons in time to the shapes coming down those little tracks that you see on the screen. And I don't know if they're kind of hard to see on the screen right now, but there's these little circles at the end of each track, and you have to hit. That's your hit point, basically. That's where you push whatever button is in line with this. Yeah, those little circles, and you push them in time, like when the shapes reach there, and they fall down a pit, and it makes music. And I still have not figured out why there's a pool of water at the end of each of the tracks, because I haven't played it yet. But you just basically make music, and it looks like it's so relaxing, and they worked so hard on the stop-motion animation that I'm just like, I have to showcase this game.
I need to watch this simply for clarification, because it sounds really cool.
It sounds really strange, but all the trailer does is play a song, like, using the mechanics of the game. It doesn't explain how you play the game or anything. It's just like, here, this is what it looks like when you're playing.
Huh.
So
Now it's stop motion, and then everything that they use is handcrafted then, right?
yes,
All the shapes and the backgrounds or whatever, the
Mhm.
animations.
Interesting.
every single thing is handcrafted. You can see by the trailer that the shapes that are on the side are just paper. They're paper craft. And those are your indicators for how many of those. I think that's how many of them you have left, or it might have been how many that you've missed. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
That's what I mean. The game, it doesn't explain anything, and I like briefly read about it because I thought, oh, this is really cool. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Anyway, if you want to go ahead and play the
Time for a
play the
little
trailer,
mindless
we'll know what the hell I'm
self-indulgence.
talking about. Wait, what? Mindless self-indulgence? Where? What?
Whoa. That is way better music than its pop culture counterpart of NSYNC.
Yeah, Savvy said the music is relaxing, but I feel the gameplay would get incredibly boring and tedious, and that's completely fair.
Mhm.
I realize that I'm kind of odd for liking rhythm games as much as I do. But part of what I like to bring to the table, we were talking about this before the newscast, is Nick and Vinny bring the shiny games. They're like, oh, look at this, look at how great this is, look how great how much fun this looks. And I'm like, all right, slow it down, and let's look at games that may offer some sort of benefit, like therapeutically as well, or whatever. because like, you know, last week I had the game for, you know, blind people, and this week I'm bringing a game for people who just want to sit there, and they may want to listen to music, but they don't feel like, you know, they don't really want to do much else. Like, I don't know. To me, that's when I play rhythm games. If I don't want to do anything else, but I'm bored out of my mind, that's when I pull out Guitar Hero.
I like those types of games too, especially when they have like the component where you can kind of create your own music. We're doing, there's a game called Centris coming out that's a lot like that. We're doing it tomorrow, and that's kind of what that reminded me of. But I really enjoyed the elements from the rhythm perspective, because it's neat the way that even if you screw up, it's still changing your own musical landscape. I like that.
Yeah, and that way it's got an element like, let me find the comment. Lovable Misfits said I would fail so hard. And that's the thing, even if you fail, the music's still gonna change. It's not like Guitar Hero, where if you miss all the notes, it goes fail, and then like the crowd boos you or whatever. It just goes, oh, well, the song is changing. That's cool. Keep trying, you know, buddy. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the blocks where the shapes were coming off of were actually changing and aging as the trailer went on. Like cracks were forming in them, the buttons were turning darker, like it had that not so fresh look, you know. And I'm not entirely sure why they did that mechanic, but considering that that's all handmade, stop motion, I think that's really neat.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
So, but anyway, yeah, that was insane. I don't think they have a Kickstarter. I think they're pretty much fully formed, but you can, if you're interested in it, you can buy it on the Humble store, I think.
Yeah, it was like $4.99 too, so a really good price for a game of that kind of quality.
Totally worth it, in my opinion. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. The next thing we wanted to touch on... Yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
Well, I'm going to pass it off to you, but I wanted to talk about the Not a Game collection, so if you just want to preface it, and then we can actually get to the news portion of it.
Yeah, totally. So, the Not a Game collection is really cool. I interviewed the dude that made the... it's an album, which is inspired completely by video games. So he's got songs on there, like, inspired by Bastion or inspired by Fez, that kind of thing. And we actually played one of his songs at the beginning of this show, which is, I love it. I absolutely love the music from this. And he has his website up now where you can actually purchase. It's a minimum of a £5 donation. And half of the money that you guys donate to this album goes to the Child's Play Foundation.
Right.
Yeah, and £5 is like almost $8. So I mean, it's $8 for an album. I mean, come on.
Yeah, very high quality album.
So. Yeah, and so inspired by, they're not actual covers or anything of video game songs. They're all his own original creations, but they're based on titles like Fez and FTL, that sort of thing.
Surgeon Simulator made it in there.
Composer.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Great guy. As for the news portion, as of today, actually, the game is, the album rather, is available on iTunes and Google Play.
Hey,
so
awesome!
Check it out there. You can now do so. I posted the link in chat. We'll post it again for the YouTube folks later. But yeah, if you've been waiting for the album but wanted to get it on iTunes or Google Play, that is now possible.
Yeah.
So you got no excuse.
Yeah, and Child's Play, if you guys don't know too much about it, is a great foundation where it's an entire charity that's trying to make the lives of children in hospitals better, like through video games or anything like that. Yeah,
and their families. It's like Ronald McDonald House basically provides for families of cancer patients when they're here for St. Jude, for the cancer program, and they utilize Child's Play, and they have like gaming systems and stuff in the Ronald McDonald houses as well as St. Jude, or they did. I don't know if they still do, but and it's a way to help keep everybody's spirits up. It's such a terrible situation. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, great album, great cause. You should definitely check it out. There's links to the Bandcamp too if you want to test it out. There's a few tracks up there.
Yeah.
So feel free.
And that's about the news portion. Time to get on to everybody's favorite.
Well, hold on.
Oh, no, not yet. Yes, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that.
No, it's fine. I just actually wanted to pitch this out because it's something we're trying new for next month for the June issue of the magazine. We're looking to try a new sort of form of advertising, and so I wanted to run it past everybody and see what they thought and get feedback or whatever as we start trying. Basically, what we want to do is super cheap advertising because we get a lot of requests from like freemium games or developers that really do not have even like $25 to spend on a corner page ad. So what we wanted to try is each month we're going to do a full page, and we're going to break it down into like maybe 6 to 12 squares, even sized squares, and we're going to let people bid on the space. So let's say there's 12 spaces on a page. We'll start the bidding at $1, and people can claim a corner or a box or whatever for $1, and we will put a screenshot that they can give us of the game and their Twitter handle, and we can, for the digital portion of the magazine, we can embed a link to their website or whatever, their Twitter account. But the point is to give super cheap advertising which hopefully lets any developer advertise.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we want to get everybody in the magazine. And we're hoping if you don't have $25, hopefully you've got $1 and we can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to give that a try. Format-wise, I haven't really figured out how we're going to do the bidding. I'm thinking of just having a Google document that's editable by IGM but accessible to the public so everyone can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So people know which squares are bid on and how much people have bid so far to kind of keep a running tally, and then they can email me their requests. But that's basically it. We're trying to get advertising opportunities to literally everybody of every financial situation.
Yeah, we were touching on that in Skype chat the other day, just about how we really want with our magazine, we really want the smaller indies to have a home, and that's a good way to do it because a lot of people can't afford like full-on advertising. So giving even some form of alternative is good. It's a good step forward.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping at the very least, you get a little bit of exposure, people see your Twitter handle. If they're intrigued by the screenshot, they can follow you for more. Any like little things we could do to try to help get your name out there. That's what we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
A good screenshot goes a long way. I've gotten so many humble bundles based on like 2 screenshots. Like, I didn't go watch the video, I just looked at it and I went, that game looks really awesome. And I know that's a terrible example, but but the thing is that a lot of people like me do exist in the gaming world where we see a screenshot and think, wow, that looks really cool. And if the price is right, we're just like, well, I'll test it out later. It just looks neat.
Oh, totally.
So that's definitely a good way to get some interest, if not actual purchases in your game.
Yeah. Yep, so that's it. So if we can transition on to the next segment now, Nick.
Everybody's favorite segment, watching videos from Kickstarter. No. Pretty much. Are we not what?
Okay, good. We're not watching Hover again. I saw that tab on your internet. I saw it.
What? Why would we?
Is that like?
Why would we ever do something silly like that?
Hey, we do some recaps.
Yeah.
We check another progress of games.
You might want to check lower in the document. By the way, Bonnie.
Oh God.
However, first off, we want to recap on something that I didn't think was going to make it this far in a week, and we talk about the Universim. This game has been going completely viral. Completely.
Yep.
They made their Steam greenlight in a matter of 7 days, which is like pretty unheard of for Steam. And yeah. What is this? So like 11 days into the Kickstarter and they're about halfway done almost?
Yeah, they still got 19 days to go, and they are at just about to eclipse the 160K mark.
Wow.
Which, like, wow, maybe let's do a Kickstarter for me.
Yeah.
I know, right? Kickstarter to get Vinny a new laptop.
I can use 160K. But anyway, I guess for those who missed it, I think we're going to play a couple minutes just to familiarize everyone with
totally.
the concept of Universon.
We're not going to play the whole thing, but the first couple minutes. There we go.
This is a mass of rock and air, molded together in the infinite fabric of space, intertwined to create the perfect environment for sustaining life. I am a living planet. I was cold and alone for such a long time, until one day life burned into existence. They began so small, so fragile, so very young. But with time, they grew stronger, and civilizations rose from the dust. From stone to metal, their technologies advanced. Soon they learned to swim, and eventually they learned how to fly. For a time, I thought we would be friends. But that was not to be. They drained my resources for centuries, until I had nothing left to give. They endured my disasters and cured whatever diseases I could unleash. But one day, they turned their gaze to the stars, searching for others like me. What they did not know was that they were not alone.
Ooh, that's a good face to stop on.
Yeah, so they actually just
Hello, my name is Al.
Kickstarter yesterday with a new little post. They're adding a forum basically for the site because they want to integrate community feedback and all that.
Oh, good.
But what they're doing is actually pretty interesting. It's something that they call community labs, and each week they're going to have a different what they call mission. Really, they're just going to give you a topic and explain a little bit more about a certain aspect of the game, and then they give the audience the opportunity to comment on how they would like the feature to be best implemented. And you can, pitch your own ideas and all that stuff.
That's
so
interesting.
So the first week, mission 1 is called temperature regulation, and it's just about how when you come to a new planet, there's different environmental hazards, so it's not all planets are livable or equal to the home planet. So you have to research different technology for your citizens to be able to survive. So they're taking feedback on how that should be integrated. So yeah, this week, if you have an idea of how you'd best like to see the feature used, you can go ahead and comment on the forums.
Wow. And again, that is not getting funded unless it makes 320 grand. So they need your help, guys.
Yeah, halfway there. We talked about it a lot last week. It's a pretty bold idea. They got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, totally.
But they have some good ideas, and they're working with the community, and they're pretty open about development. As a matter of fact, we'll probably have an interview with them sometime soon, so be on the lookout for that, because I've been speaking to the team this past week.
And yeah, we're actually on there. I mean, totally fan myself here, but the IGM is actually on there Kickstarter site right underneath like Rock Paper Shotgun, and I think
It's right next to the pledge 30 or more.
yeah.
For visual reference, so you guys don't have to like scroll all over the page.
Yeah.
Pledge $30 or more and look to the left.
Thanks,
You'll
Bonnie.
see, Rock Paper Shotgun, Kotaku, IGM, and PC Gamer.
Yeah.
We're awesome.
Next up, let's talk about a game about a real dog. If you guys have heard of this one, is called Buck, and this is a really interesting game. I love how it's almost like Mad Max Noir. It's like the only way I can really explain it. It looks
kind of like Sam and Max. If Sam and Max was just a little bit grittier.
Yeah, totally. If Max had like died in some horrible accident and Sam just went off the deep end.
Oh my god.
We should totally show the video for this first before we talk about it.
Yeah.
'Cause, the video explains a lot.
So I was
Excellent
7.
plan.
This one pulls
when I first
the
got Buck.
heartstrings, guys. So be warned.
He was an incredibly smart dog, but he had only one problem. He never quite came to terms with his own size. He would bark and attack other dogs who would be 4 to 5 times bigger than him. We always laughed at the fact that in his own mind he probably pictured himself as this big, monstrous dog, but in reality he weighed about 11 pounds. The idea for the game came to me years ago, when my brother Adi drew this picture of Buck for one of my birthdays. And I remember just looking at it and going, we need to make a video game about Buck. Simple as that. So I began to write down ideas for the game, all while sketching Buck in my notebooks while completely ignoring what was happening in class or high school. We had stored up on many different versions of Buck and other dogs that we tried to implement into a cohesive concept over the years. It's really funny to see how much the game has changed over time. On September 27th, after 17 wonderful years, Buck had passed away. It was weird continuing to work on the game without him. I even considered sacking the entire game because it just became sad to come into work every day. After a while, people began to talk about us on the internet, and we began to receive emails of love and support alongside the big, important question: could you guys possibly put my own dog into your game? That's when it hit me. That's when I realized what this game could really become. We began to put other people's dogs and cats into our levels as background characters and even main characters that talk directly to the player. We did all this while trying to make the best action-adventure game possible. But I really believe that that's the point behind our Kickstarter. It's to give people like you the option to put your own dog and cat into our video game, while providing us the funds to deliver the best game that we can.
I got a story to tell you about a dog I once knew. This dog lost almost everything just for being different. He had no idea what was waiting for him, but he kept on going. 'Cause you see, when she was involved, there was nothing that could stand in his way. I gotta say, I can't wait to tell you the rest.
I really love that. That video is awesome.
Yeah.
I have something in both my eyes right now.
Oh, the feels.
all those feels, they smack me in the face.
Good way to do a
It's very
Kickstarter.
dramatic.
if you couldn't tell, Buck is 2D action adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main talking points are weapon customization, player-driven dialogue, and non-linear story progression. So I don't know if you noticed in the video the dialogue you can actually use. It looks like the entirety of the D-pad. There's usually 4 different options for discussion. I assume each has a different connotation.
Yeah.
Or implication. But yeah, this looks like a really sweet idea.
And true to form, the higher pledge levels will allow you, if you guys have your own pets that you want in the game, that you can get them in the game. Which is a good way to do that.
At a slightly lower level, at like 45 AUD, you can get an actual, like you can get a sketch of your pet.
Yeah.
It'll be placed in the end game credits. So that's another way to get your pet in the game if you don't have, you know, a bunch of money. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be. There's no projected release date yet, I believe. But it is going. It's coming to Windows first, and then Mac and Linux shortly thereafter.
Oh, cool.
It's currently already on Steam Greenlight if you'd like to vote for it. We can put the link up in chat. And
that's like the very beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah. But they plan for consoles, but that's only later down the line. That's not intended for launch.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty neat idea. I like the idea of integrating. We talked a little last week about some Kickstarters fail short of the mark when the price tiers are too low for actual including like fan stuff in the game.
Yes.
But their tiers are pretty high for that, so they seem to have a pretty good handle on it. And they've basically been building the entire game thus far. Most of the characters have come from friends and family, so
Yeah.
they seem to have a handle on quickly doing the sketches and integrating stuff into the game.
And they're not doing anything retarded, like, we'll build a virtual reality machine in your house so that you can play this game in full immersion.
Right.
It's a good way to do it.
Stuff into the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're looking for 75K, and the majority of that, or actually, yeah, the majority of it will all be used just to create additional content and assets. So, you know, it's the same old story that they want to work full-time on the project because they've been doing it as a side project for a long, long time. And so the money goes to being able to get the game out quicker so they can work full-time on it.
Which would be nice.
Yeah.
It's a great concept. I mean, I really like that. I mean, I'm gonna be a girl for a second. Let's get, you know. But I really like that he felt so much about his dog, like that he had that kind of connection with his dog that he felt inspired to create something. Like there are so many, like that's like almost a more tangible kind of connection with like the game content. I know that every game that's created has a passion behind it and has an inspiration and everything, and it's nice to be able to like see the inspiration and kind of relate to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you can see a dog, you know, you can play with a dog. You may have had pets, so you understand like the connection there that he had to feel the need to create this for his dog. And after having the dog for 17 years, like you got to think about, this game was basically 17 years in the making, and that's a long ass time to be like planning this stuff. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to talk about, I kind of want to again watch the video first and talk about it after.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because this one, yeah, I'll just play the video and then we'll talk. So here we go. So, pan the game.
Necro just said it, but the first when I first watched the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I wonder where this is gonna go. And then that lady sort of, like disappears and goes full on Super Saiyan. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So I was like, I have no idea where this game's going. But
So
they started showing off the gameplay, I got the hang of it.
the neat thing that I like about it too is that it's a 2D rhythm action platformer. So I assume it's going to have the
this one's all
same.
for Bonnie. It's a rhythm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it'll have the same types of mechanics as things like Patapon, which is one of my all-time favorite games. But
Yeah, that's what it seems to.
yeah, so this one needs 30,000 euros, and it's at 4,000. But I mean, it's
But
only
it's got 24 days to go.
yeah. So I'd like to keep my eye on this one because just the eccentricity of this game, I would love to see come to fruition.
And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. There's that little companion. I'm just gonna call it like a ball of light because I really don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
That floats around the character called Maya, I guess is her name, Miya, and so she carries, I guess, the items, so different instruments that the main character's name is Apollo, by the way, that Apollo can summon, and she's also used to interact with the environment. In the trailer, you saw her levitating a platform so that Apollo could get across the other side. So there's this puzzle-esque component to it. There's hand-to-hand combat, so there's combos and stuff like that, which is interesting for a rhythm game. Because Patapon kind of got harder during later stages when you had to do a lot of things at once.
Yeah.
So adding combination attacks to a rhythm game adds a significant level of challenge, but it should be fun. The interesting thing, there's an aspect of fast travel, but it's not like you pick a point on a map and you warp there. Apollo transforms into it really just looks like a battering ram.
Yeah.
And you fast travel in the environment itself, and it's almost like a mini game of sorts where you have to dodge obstacles and crash into enemies. So it's pretty interesting.
I want this game.
I will say the animation does look very nice.
Yeah,
but
very
something
visually
like this,
appealing.
obviously, the heart and soul of it is the music, and they have a few tracks on the Kickstarter. Admittedly, I have not listened to them yet, though, so I can't comment. But hopefully, the music is up to snuff, because otherwise, the whole idea kind of falls apart, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If it's it does. But if it's anything like the music that's in the trailer, then I'd say they've got a pretty good shot at it being awesome.
Yeah.
I really like music like that.
I think anytime you call yourself a rhythm game, you better have some musical chops, otherwise you're just not going to do well.
Damn straight.
Very true.
Hey, Bear Mask, how's it going?
So next up, this game, if you guys want it, it's got 11 days to go. However, you'll see that they're at $170K from their $60,000 goal, so it is definitely being made. But it's such a neat little game, I thought we should definitely spotlight it here on the newscast.
Yeah, I just want to say we covered this way back when the Kickstarter first went up, and the moment I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, this game is gonna do just fine." I just want to say we totally called that one here.
That's why you see us up on places like the Universum's Kickstarter. All right, so this is Hartforth Elysia.
There's an island in the sky named Ulster, and on it lies a village of wizards named Brynja. Many years ago, the wizards took the power of the island for themselves, and so the spirit of light cursed them never to have children again. Today begins the trial of the last two wizards of the bloodline, Elysia and Hestra, but their coming-of-age ceremony has stopped. One of the wizards has been killed by the spirit. The children run away, but the spirit takes a hold of Hestra and uses him to throw Elysia off the edge of the island. But this is not how Elysia's story ends. It begins with a fire.
Yep.
But this is all yet to happen. Alicia has not been here still. She hasn't seen the sunsets of the Oregon Desert, or the rivers trickling down the hills of Beryllium. She hasn't yet fallen down the waterfall, and it is still midday back home. Perhaps Hustra turned around and asked her something, but she doesn't reply. She's being quiet for a moment. It's just a feeling, but maybe she can sense the presence of a woman.
So, Hartforth Alicia.
Yeah, before we mention anything, I just want to say this before I forget. I think Necro mentioned Chucklefish gave the game a bit of a mention. Chucklefish is actually, they shouted out about Hartforth because they're actually kind of helping out in an almost publisher capacity. They're not funding the game at all, but they are advertising the game or showing off.
Interesting.
They have like business responsibilities, marketing, and distribution, so they're not funding the game, but they are giving it their support in hopes of being able to bring the game to consoles. So Chucklefish has been, a part of the back end as far as publishing is concerned, and spreading the message, which has obviously been pretty effective.
Yeah. That one, like I said, I just wanted to mention again. Man, look at all those stretch goals just smashed.
It looks like there's a personal component to it, though. Like, maybe you enter in whether you're male or female at the beginning, because people are like, what if that woman at the end, what? Well, if you listened, they said, she sensed maybe the presence of a woman, and then it cuts to this woman who's, like, looking down, and I guess she might be reading or something, and so, like, I think she's supposed to represent the player. And you are controlling the story. That's what I got from it. I haven't read this Kickstarter page, so I don't know if I'm talking out my ass or not.
There's two aspects to it. The woman is actually part of the story that's
cool.
told through live action footage. There's two separate narratives.
Oh.
Yeah,
Never ending story.
Right. So
Yeah, that's where I was going to.
As you're playing through Alicia's adventure, I believe you can only play as Alicia, female protagonist. But as you're going through it, it impacts the story of who they just call her the woman so far.
It's
an entire narrative that is told through live action scenes.
As long as I can summon Falcor into the real world at the end, I'm okay.
That'd be awesome. I want to tray you to follow me around.
Fight the sadness.
But yeah, I mean, like, Metroidvanias, of course, are a huge deal. The world seems to be full of them, but nobody ever gets tired of them. And I think this one has just the right amount of charm, and certainly has the gameplay finesse from the looks of it to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we've still got quite a few games to go. So next one, who loves Megaman X style games? Shall we talk about...
What kind of question is that?
Right? Let's talk about Echoes of Iridu. So this one is 6 days to go. They've got about $8,000 that they need, and I really do want to see this one backed. So,
this one has to get funded. Guys,
yeah,
you're killing me.
Yeah,
we gotta get this one funded.
Yeah, I'll just play the video for Necrolance, but we need to get this funded, like just straight up. Oh my god, I was dancing so hard. Coming this November. Oh my god, I need to play this game. I want it to come out so bad.
Yeah. Well, you need to play
I
it.
get 10 minutes in.
I did play it for a while at PAX. I played through a couple levels of it actually. And it is co-op, yes. I forget who said that in chat, but yeah, it's co-op. I had the pleasure of playing with the founder of the team, Chris King. We played co-op together, and
Oh, wow.
the action is smooth. Yeah, it's funny, just as a testament to the gameplay. I mean, I haven't played a Megaman game in a long time.
I thought you were going to say
so I was
ever.
I kind of no. I played them all. It's easier. But it's been a long time.
I've never played a Mega Man game, so I'm the odd man out here.
That's okay,
Oh,
Bonnie.
brother.
That's okay.
So just as a testament to the gameplay, for maybe 10 minutes of the first stage, Chris had to carry me for a fair bit. And when you die in co-op, you have the choice to come back if your partner offers up half their health, so they take a half health cut and you come back.
Oh,
alive.
cool.
So I probably died a couple times, and he really carried me for most of the first stage. And then once I picked it up, he died early on, and I had to play for like 20-25 minutes all on my own. And he was just talking at me because he figured I'd be dead soon. And I finished the demo, and he was like, "Wow, I can't believe you pulled that out." I was like, "Yeah, well, the gameplay works incredibly well." So
Actually, I believe your exact words were, "Echoes of Iridu is a fantastic addition to the action platforming genre, Vinny."
Oh, is that a quote by me? Where did you find that?
Right on the page, right.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been talking to the team quite a bit. I really hope they get funded because this game, I'd love to make a cover story out of it because it's a fantastic game. It's only getting better. They actually just announced the third character. There's going to be 4 playable characters ultimately if they get all the funding they want. The third character is a robo-dog called Jam. So those of you who plays Rush but haven't had the opportunity,
Well,
he's pretty awesome. He's melee based, so he can kind of like thrust or boost
interesting.
into his opponents, and he can cancel his boosts and stuff to change directions. And he's got all 8 directional inputs.
Interesting.
Full circle. It's really cool though, for sure. They have 1 character left to announce that they haven't yet. I believe his name is Blitz. But Jam was the latest addition, and each character has a completely unique playstyle. You can see the 2 in the trailer. 1 is melee based, 1 is range based, so they kind of play a little bit like Megaman and Zero.
yeah,
But
I noticed that. And
it's
his
awesome.
name was X.
So this one has to get funded, guys. It's a fantastic game. They have a great team put together. They're working real hard on it.
Yeah.
They're a great group, but it's shaping up so well. It looks better all the time, every time I look at it. And
But-
I can't wait for it to come out.
You guys aren't going to get it unless you back it, so make sure to hit that
Guys,
backing button.
there's an ad.
There's an ad?
Yeah, it's the top of the hour, so there's an ad on our page apparently.
Oh.
Interesting.
Why didn't I get it?
We are partnered. That's what happens.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, hey
Here.
Kino, can everybody hear us now?
Kino's not late, he swears. You're not late at all, Kino. We were only supposed to end a minute ago. We've got...
We're kind of doing the whole 90-minute thing these days.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
figured we're doing 90 minutes. Like, I planned for 90 minutes. I
Yeah.
don't care anymore.
No, don't say you planned for.
No, because then it turns
for
into
3 hours.
Yeah. I actually thought this was going to be a short day. Like, we have quite a few more games, but really, really short times. So I was like, I hope we can pull like 45 minutes at least. Cough. We have more games to go. So,
Well, if anything needs to get cut, it might be a certain something we showed last week.
I don't think that's going to happen at
That needs to
all.
be cut.
I don't
We
think
just
that,
talked about
no.
it. We literally just talked
No, I
about it.
didn't. Not at all. It has important updates. Important updates.
Anyway.
But this is not that game.
All right,
This
let's
is
move on.
this is the old city, which I thought was really interesting. In the same strain of like Gone Home, or that one on the island. where it's just the
let's play the
exploration.
trailer first.
Yeah.
Because I do have a thought about this, but let's roll the trailer
Okay.
first.
When I was a child, I was given a rowboat. I wanted to sail, so the universe built me a galleon. How unfortunate that when I got older, I no longer wished to explore.
The old city. Yeah, I was gonna say we need to make that a command. The mighty need.
I made it a command as soon as I posted it. I went, we need that.
It's like the motto for this show.
Yeah. Zim is amazing. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. Do you know he's the bad guy in Skylanders?
Really?
Yep. Makes
Okay,
Makes
I
like him so
I
good.
just taken a sip of Diet Coke. I almost spit it all over my computer. Come again?
the voice actor for Zim is the bad guy in Skylanders, but they got him to
okay.
do the Zim voice acting for it, so it's not like
That's awesome.
it's so good. Not that I would know anything about Skylanders. It's not like my wife and I own like 20 of them.
I have the
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the old city.
Stop right there.
What were you going to say about it, Vinny?
What I was gonna say, I like this, I guess, niche genre that's come out of Gone Home and the like of really, I don't want to call them non-game games because I feel like that's condescending, but in the case of the old city,
Story games.
there's really, but I don't even know if it's a story game because you really don't do much of anything other than walk around. I mean, there's not, to my knowledge with the old city, there's not even really any interaction with the objects. You literally just walk through the environment and get told the story. And depending on where you go and the order in which you walk, different narratives open up to you. So the game changes story-wise based on where you walk and what you see and how in-depth you explore the environment. But as far as actual gameplay, you can walk, there's a jump button, and you can climb ladders. But I don't believe there's any puzzle solving or physical interaction with objects. And I don't know, I mean...
Yeah, then you get into, like, this philosophical question of what is a game?
Yeah.
You know, like, because, like, even rhythm games have that, they have that, like, that same connotation. There is a goal. You can get points for it.
Bonnie,
But-
you craving some rhythm games this week?
I just see a lot of parallels. My brain is
Yeah.
just connected to the world. Okay, but, like, there are certain games where you don't even get point systems. It's literally just, like, rhythm. Like that game that we just showed, the stop-motion game, NSYNC. Is that a game? Because all you're doing is pushing buttons and listening to music and staring at shapes. Is it a game, or is it a distraction?
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
I wasn't even thinking about it on the level of, like, what is a game, but I was thinking more along the lines of, if you're going to tell me a non-interactive story, just tell me a non-interactive story. Like, I don't really want to just walk around for the sake of walking around. I'm fine with just a completely, something like iDNA, which we talked about the other day. I'm fine with just a completely. I'll put on an Oculus Rift and look around, and you tell me the story as I'm looking. I don't feel like I need to hold the controller if I'm not actually going to do anything. So I'd much rather it almost be like a visual novel at that point.
Yeah, Mega Pie Man literally just said that phrase in chat. Visual novel.
Yeah.
They're
I don't know,
getting
for
popular.
Me, the old city, I guess the way it is right now, it's not really for me because why force me to interact if I don't actually have any reason to interact with the environment? Like, just show me what you want me to show me and tell me the story you want me to.
If I'm watching a movie, make me watch a movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There needs to be a little something for me to do if you're gonna say it's a game or if you're gonna say there's gameplay.
Yeah, totally. So
yeah,
the
like,
next.
I mean, I understand that. I guess my thing with like the whole visual novel concept is I like feeling like I'm in the middle of whatever I'm watching or reading. I love to read, and I can't read as much anymore. So games like this, you know, they kind of help me feel that same feeling I used to feel when I was a kid. Feel. Let me say that a few more times. You know, when I would get so into a book, I could feel the book. You know, like I could see myself in the book, and that kind of genre that's coming out, I really like it because of that reason. But I know that there are a lot of gamers that look at that game, you know, a game like Dear Esther or, you know, even Ether 1, because that's still kind of an exploration game. Myst, games like that, they do have little goals and they've got things that you have to achieve, but for the most part, it's a story that you're basically just in the middle of. You're in the middle of this, you've been thrust into this drama and you've got to figure out what the hell's going on. And so exploration games like that, like I appreciate them because of how I used to experience books, and I think that they do have a good enough audience for them to be successful with those types of gamers.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a market for it, as we're seeing, for sure.
So the next game that we're going to talk about, is Hover. Oh, how did that happen?
Oh God, I'm not even tasting the link. I'm just kidding, I will. Just kidding.
They're the things that I wanted to talk about because we covered this last week when the game had made its Kickstarter goal. But if you check the stretch goals, we already have more playable characters. They did get funded to have the entire Hideki Naganuma soundtrack, which is the original Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack, which is going to be amazing. And
just Jet Set Radio, I think. I think Future he contributed to, or he remixed some of the tracks.
I gotcha.
Radio was what he did the whole thing for.
Jet Grind Radio then.
Yeah.
With 18 days left, they need $2,000 to double the city size, which is something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Basically, the only we wanted to bring it up just because of as an update, like we did with Universum, but also because we will have an interview with the team coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that because we are talking to them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said.
We'll
go ahead.
bring things up if they're relevant. I give Nick shit. I'm giving him crap for this, but that is a good update. So.
Which means that we're gonna watch 2 minutes of the game. There you go. I am sated. So that's Hover. You guys need to back that because that game is going to be unbelievable. Or disappointing. We'll find out.
And before he, has a mental meltdown because the game turns out to be kind of terrible.
Did they double the city size yet, or did they not hit that goal yet?
In $2,000. Yeah, it's going to be about $2,000.
Close.
And nothing will compare to how... Okay, a little background. One of my absolute favorite series is the Alien series. I love everything about the canon. I've read the books, the comics, the movies, everything. Love it, love it, love it. So when Colonial Space Marines was coming out, you can imagine how excited I was to pre-order the most expensive $250 version of the game, to get disappointed by what they considered that, whatever that is. It is not a video game. It is more like a giant Cleveland steamer sitting on my soul in childhood.
I was just going to call it a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
Painted a more vivid picture.
So the last game that we kind of want to look at today is
Actually not a game at all.
No. I didn't. This got added, so my bad.
It's in fact a book.
Huh.
A history book, if you will. Which, don't worry, it's not about. We're not a classroom here. We're not gonna make you do any homework, but we should watch this trailer because this is a pretty amazing idea.
I like it already.
My name is Andrew Gruen, and I've been a professional journalist for the last 7 years with outlets like Wired.com and the Penny Arcade Report. EVE Online is a sci-fi MMORPG where every one of the players who live in the universe live in the exact same universe. So in a lot of other MMOs, players are spliced up into distinct servers, but everyone in EVE plays in the same universe, which gives them the same sort of cultural history that they all share. EVE is a really special game because it has this really unique aspect to it where players can actually come in to a region of parts of the game and actually take it over and take sovereignty over that part of the game world. Over time, players will form armies of tens of thousands of players, and they'll form governments to control these regions, and it's just the stories that come out of those wars are some of the most amazing stories in the history of video gaming. It's kind of weird how much the history of EVE actually parallels the history of humanity in a lot of ways. So you start out back in 2002, 2003, and it's just the phrase that people like to use is like a period of barbarism where people are just beating on each other with clubs. There's no structure, everything's very informal. Nowadays, you look at the EVE universe and it looks like a world with the United Nations where they actually have back channels where all of the famous leaders can actually get together and talk and work out their problems, and everybody's involved in these huge tangled alliances. Everybody I've talked to in the EVE community says that when you really start to love EVE is when you figure out what your niche is in the community. So some players will just go out and do an asteroid belt and mine just to try to make money to get better ships, and some players will get involved in production pipelines and try to be a logistics expert. Some people will, go for all the power and the glory and try to, command legions into battle and become fleet commanders. Some people are master politicians and end up on the Council of Stellar Management or at the head of a major corporation. My role in the EVE community is as a reporter. I really love getting to talk to everybody and learn their stories and be able to bring those stories to as many people as possible so that as many people as possible can learn the history of EVE. The project that I need your help with is a history book about EVE Online that attempts to tell the story of how EVE started back in 2003 and how it became the game that it is today. I actually think this might be the first history book that anybody's ever written about human beings living in a digital world. I've been working on this in my spare time for about the last 6 months as a labor of love, but now to print 1,000 copies of the book, I need $12,500. I designed this to be a simple project with only 2 rewards because I want this to be as focused as possible. I want to focus on making one great book, not 50 different mugs, posters, and doodads. I really believe in this project, but now it's up to you to decide if it gets made. Thanks for your time, and let's make some history together.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And he's totally... Holy, I didn't see that there were $40,000 pledged. Wow.
Yeah. He's well funded.
Yeah.
He's got some stretch goals planned for different versions of the book. I think this Kickstarter is really well executed because there's only 2 tiers. You can back for the digital version, or you can back for a softcover and digital version, and potentially a hardcover if that's one of the stretch goals.
Yeah.
So I think it's really well executed. It's simple. It's light. The idea is very clear cut. But I think this is a really fascinating idea because, I don't know. There's a bit of a double standard sometimes. People look at games like Second Life, and there's kind of a negative connotation, like people are just wasting their time. Why would you play a video game that's just about life? Why don't you go out and live real life?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to EVE Online and the world that they've built, that's full of legitimate political intrigue, you could write so many novels and movies based on the world of EVE because it really exists in its own little world.
Oh, completely.
Or universe, rather. And I mean, there's real drama. There's real, somebody said in chat before, all you need to play EVE is a spreadsheet, and
that was me.
There's a lot more to it than that, but there's an aspect of it where people do just play it with a spreadsheet.
Oh, totally.
There's a business side to EVE.
But I mean, there are already so many stories that have made it into gaming news about the people of EVE. If you the rise of the Goon Swarm in EVE is one of my absolute favorite stories of how this empire came into this world to threaten what was already an established community and government and stuff like that. There are stories of how there was this group of friends. They weren't an official guild, but they decided that they wanted to take down another corporation, the biggest corporation in the game. So for over a year, they infiltrated the highest ranks of this guild by joining the guild and getting trusted by everyone and all that kind of thing. And then within 12 hours, in a coordinated strike, they took down this guy's corporation, his government, thousands and thousands of people that were playing with this guild got knocked pretty much out of the game. And they said the real world cost of what these 3 or 4 people had done to this guy was equivalent to about $20,000 US. It's unbelievable some of the stories that have come out of EVE.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple anecdotes that'll be in the book about there's people who sign up for EVE, they join, a political faction, and then they spend months, real life months, if not years, as spies for another political entity.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It really is mind-blowing, but at the same time, it's kind of amazing what they've built. So I think the book is a fascinating idea. I honestly can't wait to read it because I think it's a fascinating story. But I figured it'd be interesting to show here just because it's a really neat idea.
And it's such a huge game. Whether I understand it or like it or not, it is a huge freaking game. I watch my boyfriend play it, and it's incredibly boring to watch, but there's so many people on when he's playing, and he's in a guild. He actually plays with Emma Stone's aunt, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, that's cool. Can you introduce us?
I'm really? No, apparently, they're not even allowed to talk on the phone because of security reasons or
That's
something.
so crazy.
She can, or on Skype. So yeah, she doesn't contact her very often. But yeah, she's oh yeah, she's my niece, and I'm like, what? But anyway, so yeah, you never know who you'll find on Eve because there's so many people on there.
Yep.
So a project like this could potentially, I mean, look how much they've raised, and they have 20 days left to go. Like, clearly there's an interest here. And people do get so into this world. It's like we were just talking about, you know, visual novels and stuff like that. Like, this is essentially, it's an actual novel that kind of does what a visual novel would for the history of Eve.
It's the perfect example of a sandbox game, and it has the highest retention rate of any MMO, meaning that people that start that game are usually playing that game for a very long time. And I mean, lots of people.
Kind of a life sentence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
You gotta commit.
It's like Second Life, except there's like, well, actually no, there's real money tied up in Second Life too. Both those games are. Oh, yeah. They're about escapism and getting, you know, I guess doing in game what you may not be able to do in your real life.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in Second Life. Man, I wish I had an eye for art because I could just be a designer or to build homes for in the digital world and make real money for it. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. I'm so bad at money management sims, like any kind of money management sim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I could afford that. Oh, I have no money left. What's up?
I have a buddy that plays Eve, and he's crazy into that kind of crap. It's like, well, if I wanted a commerce degree, I would probably go to school for a commerce degree.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a fascinating idea. It's a fascinating game. I'm
Yeah.
glad somebody's doing it because I'm interested to read it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yay!
And with that silence, that's going to be it for this week, guys.
Oh, you know what? Today's Star Wars Day, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
May the 4th be with you all. May the
All
4th.
All the people with lisps rejoice because
Today is your
May
day.
the 4th be with you.
Unless you don't like Star Wars, in which case go back to your home.
In which case, you have a long wait until those movies are done now because we're pumping out a whole lot more.
I watched all those movies when I was a very small child, and I haven't watched them again since.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's true.
I think I was 2 when I saw whichever one the Ewoks are in. Is it The Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I think that's Return of the Jedi.
And like one of them jumps off a cliff, and my mom said I screamed when the Ewok jumped off the cliff.
Aww.
Like our Star Wars story. Like, and I haven't watched any of the original trilogy, and I saw episode 3 in the theaters, and I didn't see episode 1 or 2, and that's literally all I do with Star Wars. That's it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no worries. My friend's wife refuses to watch Star Wars because she doesn't like nerdy things. So.
She can't go to the movies anymore because we've taken over.
I assume she doesn't go out of her house anymore. Just sits there and watches, I don't know, like, The OC. I couldn't think of a good show that isn't nerdy.
Not even like Revenge or something current.
No, The OC. We're going there.
She's got Dawson's Creek on VHS.
Oh, man. The Dawson...
Oh.
See, we know that the show is over when we start going into the Dawson's Creek, like, shoutouts.
I just
We're gonna
can't.
cut things off every week. That's gonna be our outro. We're gonna play the Dawson's Creek theme music.
Oh, let me find it. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't understand what's in VHS.
Damn it, Bonnie.
I had to do it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That is going to wrap it up for us today, guys. So, thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Bonnie. It's always a pleasure doing the show. This is one of my...
joining us, everybody in chat. Thanks for watching, folks on YouTube.
Yes.
It gets archived.
Yep.
We will be back next week.
Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, follow button, shout it out on Twitter, subscribe to our magazine, and look out for all the shows that we have going on this week.
I think Geek and Sundry likes to call it such like a scribe.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. From here at IGM, that's going to be it for us. So much love, and we'll see you soon.
Enjoy the rest of the
Bye.
weekend.